I'm back and you're watching today's World News. I'm Randolf Jamias from the capital, Naypyidaw. Heading the stories, recent devastating floods across Asia have highlighted the region's increased vulnerability to natural disasters, in part caused by climate change. The Asian Development Bank warns ahead of key UN environmental talks in Qatar. AFP has more.
From the Philippines to Thailand to China, the past year has seen an increase in devastating floods across Asia. The Asian Development Bank has said that such natural disasters are in part due to climate change, and the region's megacities are particularly vulnerable. Warning came as climate negotiators meet for an annual round of UN talks in Doha.
The top 5 cities that are considered most vulnerable are all in Asia Pacific: Dhaka, Manila, Bangkok, Yangon, and Jakarta.
Recent events appear to bear out his claim. In August, a tropical storm dumped huge quantities of rain on the Philippine capital Manila, submerging 80% of the city and leaving scores dead. Parts of the Thai capital were also engulfed by floods last year. The month-long floods killed several hundred people, mostly in northern and central Thailand. The disaster set off alarm bells across Asia.
So this region is particularly vulnerable, and part of it is that it is not the most urbanized region, but the size of the cities, the sheer numbers, are extraordinarily high. Add to that the impact of climate change and weather changes that have affected the degree of the hazard these cities face.
Asian leaders may be hoping that firm commitments can be agreed to combat climate change and protect their cities at the UN talks. But the meetings have in recent years produced little in the way of breakthrough.
And to follow up with that news, Qatar has much to prove in the coming days as the fossil fuel producing nation with the world's largest per capita carbon footprint hosts the 18th UN Climate Change Conference. Environmentalists questioned whether the tiny emirate has the diplomatic muscle and, more importantly, the political will to play a positive role in the critical 2-week huddle that kicks off next Monday in Doha. The oil and gas-rich Gulf nation, seeking to expand its global reach and recently awarded the 2022 Football World Cup, insists it is committed to a successful conference. The Gulf state, which depends almost entirely on fossil fuel for income and energy, will find itself in a strange role, expected to steer some 194 nations towards a new deal to reduce greenhouse gas emissions, and by default, their dependence on oil and gas. Now in Japan, self-confessed geeks who might ordinarily be too shy to ask someone on a date are trying a new kind of matchmaking wearing cartoon character masks. In a small town north of Tokyo, 50 men and an equal number of women donned plastic masks of Doraemon, Mickey Mouse, and other fictional creations to try to find a date on Friday. The party in Washinomiya was organized for the benefit of otaku, people obsessed with high-tech products, Japan's manga comic books, and the anime that sprang from them. Aside from giving their participants a boost to their bravery, the masquerade also ensured that people with similar interests were able to meet each other. The event was organized by the local Chamber of Commerce. Moving now to Brazil, Renault CEO Carlos Ghosn told journalists in Rio on Friday that Brazil is now the firm's second biggest market and that building local production is key to expanding into emerging markets. In his speech, Ghosn said that Brazil has become the second most important market in the world, with a 25% share in sales in 2012, alongside 5% growth in the market as a whole. Things are similar with Nissan, but Nissan is a bit stuck in Brazil because it doesn't have a factory in the country. Cars were taxed too heavily for too long, and now certain countries are having their car market in stagnating. One of the ways to re-energize the car market is to lower taxes on cars. The Brazilian government has done that. He hopes it will last, that it's not just a temporary measure. Meanwhile, iconic British brand Jaguar Land Rover is trying to keep pace with foreign competitors in China as it started the construction of its new car factory, the world's biggest auto market.
One of the 77 Jaguar Land Rovers in Skyfall. There is enough road left. Take the bloody shot. Jaguar Land Rover is now taking a shot at China, the biggest auto market in the world. The plant to be built here in Changshu marks the latest effort by Ratan Tata, head of India's Tata Motors, to expand in a market where SUVs and luxury sedans remain hot, even as it cools overall. Mr. Tata's confidence in China stems from his success in reviving sales of the iconic British brand. Sales of JLR now account for 90% of group profit, picked up faster than Tata's total global vehicle sales in October. JLR's improving sales have, in a big way, helped drive Tata Motors' stock price 50% higher over the past 12 months. But can Tata Motors replicate its success in China, where rivals such as BMW and Audi already have a clear head start? There may also be risks to partnering with Chery, the Chinese car maker embroiled in a patent lawsuit in 2004, when U.S. rival General Motors alleged Chery's QQ infringed on its Mini car.
You can't completely avoid the patent risks. If you can't fight that tide of history, you might as well join them and try to capitalize it, and then also spend enough R&D so that you're always ahead of the competition.
Much is at stake for Tata Motors, which paid $2.3 billion for JLR.
And finally, in Russia, it's an unusual image. 3 tiger cubs abandoned by their mother after birth in a zoo in Sochi, southern Russia, have found a new mom, Talli, a white Swiss shepherd dog who takes care of the small felines. The cubs, 2 male and 1 female, were born at the Oktyabrsky Zoo in Sochi. Their mother sniffed them and refused to feed them. Workers in the zoo found the adoptive mother for the cubs in Yeysk, in the Krasnodar region. It's not the first time Bagheera has refused to feed her newborns. 5 months ago, a similar situation arose when she gave birth to 2 cubs. That's quite amazing. And that's all we have for now. Thanks for the company. I'll see you again next time.